hidden lab deep under the Atlantic Ocean. Something impossible had just happened. Dr. Elira Voss, one of Earth's top scientists, stood in front of a large black machine that hummed softly. Her hands were shaking. She didn't speak. She only stared at the monitor. The numbers were there. The signal was clear. It had worked. The blink drive had activated. The other scientists around her didn't move. For 3 seconds, the entire room was silent. Then, as the truth settled in, someone whispered, "It worked. ... We did it." Elira slowly sat down. Her eyes were wide. "We broke space," she said softly. 10 years ago, humanity had dreams of faster-than-light travel, but all the science said it was impossible. Warp drives, wormholes, folding space, these were things only aliens had, or things found in old science fiction books. But Elira believed in something else, something new, something never tried before. She called it the blink drive. The idea was simple but dangerous. Instead of moving a ship through space, what if you moved space around the ship? She explained it like this. A spaceship is like a fish trying to swim across a huge ocean, but the blink drive doesn't swim. It folds the ocean until the fish can just step across. At first, no one listened. The Galactic Council, made of powerful alien civilizations, laughed at her research. They told Earth, "Your species is too young to play with space." But humans didn't stop Project Horizon. The United Earth Federation gave Elira the freedom and the money to build a secret lab underwater. They feared the aliens might attack if they learned what she was doing. In that hidden lab, they built the blink drive. It was massive. Its black metal rings spun silently, floating in magnetic fields. Inside was a sphere, small as a soccer ball, but glowing like a star. That was the fold core, made from a new element called E7, found deep under Mars. No one truly knew how it worked, but Elira felt something every time she went near the core. Like the air became heavier, like time itself was slower, like something was. Watching the first activation start the drive, she said, the team looked nervous. This was the test they had prepared for 5 years. A probe named Blinkwan sat in the launch tunnel, ready to jump to Alpha Centauri. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. Blink. The probe vanished from the chamber. It didn't fly. It didn't speed. It simply disappeared, like a candle blown out. In an empty room, 10 seconds later, a signal came back. The probe had arrived in Alpha Centauri. It was sending back video showing a red sun and 3 small planets. The room exploded with cheers. People cried. Scientists hugged. Some just stood still, unable to believe it. But Elira was silent. She looked at the readings. Something was wrong. The jump was successful, but for 0.0001 seconds, Earth's magnetic field had shifted. Space itself had bent. Something had looked back. She didn't tell anyone. Not yet. The galaxy reacts. The news didn't stay secret for long. A day later, alien satellites across the solar system picked up strange space readings. Reports said a gravitational ripple had moved through the Milky Way starting from Earth. The Galactic Council demanded answers. Earth remained silent, so the Council sent a warning. Stop your experiments. You are not ready. Elira ignored them. She had already begun preparing the next test. Fear in the lab. The second test was different. This time, the probe would jump to the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy 2.5 million light-years away. No way this works, said Marco, one of the engineers. That's insane. Elira nodded. But if it does, everything changes. They launched Blink 2. It vanished. Instantly, everyone watched the screen. 3 seconds later, the probe returned. Impossible, but real. The video feed showed a gas giant floating near a dead star. Andromeda, the location matched, but this time the video feed was strange. In the corner, for just 1 second, a dark shape moved behind the stars. No one saw it except Elira, a shape that didn't move like a ship or a rock. It moved like it was alive. The silent visitor that night, Earth's moon lost power. All systems on the lunar base shut down. Cameras caught nothing. But one telescope saw something, a black object hovering near Earth, silent, no lights, no heat. Then it vanished. The next day, Elira and her team found their lab's outer doors had been scratched, like something tried to get in. There was no breach, but the fold core was colder than ever before. A message appeared on Elira's screen. You blinked. Now we see. She didn't tell anyone. Not yet. Elira's decision, the United Earth Federation, begged her to shut down the project. The aliens are scared, the president said. We've done enough. This is too dangerous. But Elira shook her head. They're scared because they don't understand it, she said. The blink drive is the key to everything. Freedom, power, survival. We can't stop now. The Federation agreed to one more test, this time not a probe, a human crew. The pilots of the unknown 3 brave astronauts were chosen. Captain Heron Lee, engineer Mira Solas, navigator Jin Tenerthy, trained for months. The ship, called Dawnstar, was small, fast, and built around the blink drive. It had one goal: blink to a planet 500 light-years away, stay for 5 minutes, and return. The launch day arrived. Elira watched from the control room. Her hands shook. Again, Dawnstar, ready for blink, came the voice from the ship. Elira took a breath. Blink, now. The ship vanished. The wait 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 20. No signal. The room went cold. Elira felt it again, that heavy pressure. In the air, like the stars were holding their breath. Then, a scream. The Dawnstar's signal returned. The crew was alive, but screaming. Their words were broken, static, but some parts were clear. They're not stars. They were waiting. We saw eyes behind the light. Close the fold, then silence. No one slept that night. Elira's secret chi reviewed the data alone. The blink had worked. The ship jumped, but for a moment, time had stopped. Literally, the clocks inside Dawnstar showed 5 minutes. The clocks outside showed no time had passed. The ship had been frozen in a slice of space, and in that slice, something had watched. Them, maybe something older than the universe. Elira wrote one line in her private notes. The blink drive doesn't just move ships, it opens doors. And some doors should never be opened. The blink drive was silent, cold, lifeless, but Elira wasn't calm. She kept hearing Captain Heron Lee's voice in her mind. Over and over again, we saw eyes behind the light. The Dawnstar had returned, but the crew was not the same. Something had happened to them, something beyond human understanding. The crew returns. The chamber doors opened with a hiss. His eyes were open wide, but he wasn't moving. His mouth whispered something no one could hear. Myra Solas was silent too. Her hands were shaking. She kept. Only Jin Tenor, the navigator, could speak clearly. He grabbed Elira's arm and said, "We blinked, Doctor," but something blinked back. Emergency at the council far above Earth, in the galactic core. The High Council of Species gathered. For the first time in centuries, the elders looked worried. He was old, his skin like stone, and eyes glowing blue. The humans have torn space, and something is awake now. Another voice spoke. Talyara, a silver-skinned priestess from the silent world of lore. This is the sign we feared. The fold is watching. An ancient law from 10,000 years ago was clear. Do not open the deep folds of space. That is where the forgotten sleep. Now, humanity had done just that. Elira's secret log back on Earth. Elira opened her private file. She recorded a new log. Log entry 112. The blink drive worked. The ship returned, but our universe isn't empty. When we blink, we leave a scar in space, and now something has found the scar. She paused. The crew saw something, but I think those things saw us first. The second blink, mission despite the fear, Elira didn't stop. She believed that fear was part of discovery. Have to learn, she said. We have to go again. This time they would send an unmanned probe. It would blink to the outer edge of the galaxy, where no one had gone before. The probe was named Blink 3, but this time the blink drive pulsed. Before activation, like a heartbeat, it had never done that before. Launch, countdown. The room was silent. Elira stood at the console. Around her, the team looked nervous. Some wanted to stop the project. Some had already quit, but Elira didn't blink. Begin countdown, she said. 3, 2, 1. Blink. The probe vanished. The signal that broke reality. 3 seconds passed. The probe returned, but the screen didn't show stars. It didn't show planets. It showed a face. A face so large it filled the screen. Dark eyes. Its skin shimmered like space itself. It stared directly into the camera, and then it spoke, but not in words. Every person in the room heard something different. To one, it whispered in their dead father's voice, "You don't belong here." To another, it sounded like a child. "We see you." Illyra heard a simple sentence. "You called us." The feed cut to black. Global panic within an hour. Every AI system on Earth began acting strange. GPS systems glitched weather patterns, shifted stars that bled light. Some even spoke in unknown languages while sleeping. The world was afraid, but governments hid the truth. They told the public it was a deep space experiment. Nothing went wrong, but Illyra knew better. A message in the sky that night. Something happened no one could hide. A symbol appeared in Earth's sky like a black stain in the stars. It wasn't a ship, it was a shadow that moved without light. Astronomers called it the Eye. It didn't reflect light, it didn't block stars, it simply made them vanish. For 2 hours it hung above Earth, then it disappeared. The visitors arrived 3 days later. They came, not with weapons, not with ships, they simply appeared in the lab. 3 beings, tall and thin, with skin like mirrors and no faces. They didn't speak, but the words entered everyone's minds. You blinked. We watched. Now we answer. Illyra stepped forward. Her voice was shaking. Who are you? The answer came like thunder inside her mind. We are the Foldborn. We live in the seams between space. You opened the door. The beings pointed to the blink drive. It must close. Illyra asked, what happens if we don't? They said nothing. Illyra stood before the world leaders. She showed them everything, the video, the messages. The most were terrified. Some wanted to shut the project down, but Illyra said something that changed their minds. But they also showed us something. We are not weak. We touched something only the ancients feared. We are now part of a bigger universe. The Earth Federation voted. The blink drive would stay online, but in the shadows, that night Illyra had a dream. She floated in darkness. Stars blinked in and out around her, and then endless glowing eyes, watching her from inside the folds of space. A voice spoke, "You are the first, but not the last." She woke up sweating. Her lab lights were flickering, and the blink drive, it was glowing on its own. No alarm sounded, no ship appeared, no warning came, they were just there. A quiet morning turned strange. It was a normal morning in the hidden lab beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Scientists walked the halls. Engineers checked readings. Everything looked calm. Then, at exactly 7 o'clock UTC, the lights flickered. Only for 1 second. But when they returned, 3 unknown beings stood inside the blink drive chamber. They had no suits, no ships, no weapons. They had not come through the door. They had not arrived from space. They had arrived from somewhere else. The creatures that shouldn't exist, security rushed to the chamber. Illyra Voss was called immediately. When she arrived, she couldn't breathe for a moment. The creatures were tall, over 2 meters. Their bodies shimmered like liquid glass. They had no faces, but their heads turned slowly, as if watching everything. No alarms had gone off. No sensors had detected them. And yet, they were standing right next to the blink drive. Where did they come from? A guard whispered. Illyra didn't answer. She stepped forward, heart pounding, and spoke. Can you understand me? The creatures didn't move. But suddenly, everyone in the room heard a voice in their heads. It was cold, but not cruel. You blinked. So we arrived. The first Foldborn era stared at them. Are you the Foldborn? The voice replied. Names are for the surface world. We are from inside. We are not born. We are not made. We are what space hides. One of the scientists fainted. Another dropped his scanner. It showed nothing, no life signs, no temperature, no energy. The beings were invisible to physics. Why are you here? Illyra asked. The answer echoed deep in her bones. Because you tore the veil. You called us without knowing. Now the path is open. The offer one of the Foldborn stepped forward. It touched the blink drive gently. No alarm sounded. The machine didn't react. But the fold core inside changed color from blue to dark red. The being turned its head toward Illyra. The door will stay open, whether you wish it or not, but your kind may choose. Choose what? Illyra asked. To understand or to be erased. Suddenly, they vanished. No light, no sound, just just gone. But the blink drive continued to pulse soft, like a heartbeat, and now it was no longer responding to commands. Panic spreads within hours. Strange things began happening across Earth. At an observatory in Chile, stars in the sky started blinking, but only for one telescope. A deep-sea station in the Pacific reported seeing mirrors floating in the water. In Tokyo, a man walked into a wall and vanished for 3 minutes. When he returned, he was blinded, kept whispering, "I saw through the cracks." The world governments tried to keep it secret, but the Foldborn had already begun changing reality. The Galactic Council reacts far away in the galactic core. The High Council of Species held another emergency meeting. This time, they were not calm. "The Foldborn have crossed," said Talyara, the priestess. "They have not done this in over 60,000 years. And the last time," growled Sevrak, "they consumed 3 star systems." The council voted Earth must be stopped. Sent a final message: deactivate the blink drive. If not, we will erase your system, for the safety of all life. Elira Standwin, the message arrived on Earth. Panic swept through the Federation. Earth's president ordered the lab shut down. The military was sent to seize the blink drive, but Elira stood in their path. "If you shut it down now, we lose." "Our chance to understand them," she said. "They didn't attack us. They offered knowledge. They offered a choice," the general replied. "We choose survival." As soldiers moved to power down the machine, the blink drive lit up on its own, and then Earth blinked. The world vanishes from orbit. Satellites saw something unbelievable. For 0.4 seconds, Earth was gone. Not destroyed, not cloaked, just gone. And when it returned, thousands of electronics on the surface had reset. Some cities lost power. Clocks showed the wrong time. But worse, something had come back with Earth, the shape in the sky above the Atlantic Ocean. Near the lab's location, a shape appeared in the clouds. It was not a ship. It was like a giant ripple in the sky, twisting light and air. Planes avoided it. Satellites couldn't see through it. Civilians took videos, uploaded them within hours. The internet was full of theories, but only Elira knew the truth. The blink drive had become more than a machine. It was now a gateway contact in the lab. Elira stood alone. Before the drive, it whispered now, not in words, not in sound, but in her mind. "You touched the space between. You are not like the others," she asked aloud. "What do you want from us?" No answer, but the floor around her shimmered. A pool of black mirror formed beneath the blink drive, and from it, something climbed out. The visitor it was shaped like a man, but its skin was metallic. Its face had no eyes, no mouth, just a blank surface, reflecting Elira's own face. "Who are you?" she whispered. The being answered in her voice. "I am what you will become if you continue to blink." It reached toward her, not to harm, but to merge. She stepped back. "No, I am still human." The being tilted its head. Not for long, and then it vanished back into the floor. Elira single quotes S realization, she collapsed into her chair. The Foldborn weren't just watching, they were testing, studying Earth, preparing something maybe, merging with it. And the more humanity blinked, the more they would change. But Elira couldn't stop now, because if Earth didn't learn the truth, the galaxy would destroy them, and the Foldborn might be their only hope. The galaxy had feared this day for over 60,000 years. Now, it had arrived a meeting of the Elders in, a massive crystal chamber floating above the black hole at the center of the galaxy. The Galactic High Council gathered every major species, had sent their oldest, wisest leaders. The room pulsed with energy, protected by shields older than most stars. At the center stood Sevrak of the Varn Dominion, his body carved from living stone. His voice thundered, "Humanity has opened the fold. The blink drive has pulled the Foldborn into real space. We must stop them now, before the cracks spread further." On the other side stood Talyara, the silver priestess of Lure. "They are not evil. They are becoming the Foldborn. Do not destroy without reason. They wait, they study, then they decide." But the younger species afraid and loud shouted for action. They've ignored every warning. Earth blinked out of space. They brought something back with them. The council voted. Earth must be silenced. Earth receives the warning. Jalira stood in front of the global leaders. A message from the Galactic Council played on the screen. It was cold and clear. Shut down the blink drive. Destroy all Fold tech. If you do not comply, your planet will be treated as a galactic threat. You have 72 hours. The president of Earth turned to Alira. We have no choice. We can't fight the council. We don't have to fight, Alira said. We have to survive. And to survive, we need to understand the born. The president hesitated. You still trust them after what they've done? Alira replied, they didn't attack us. They gave us a chance. Debate behind closed doors in the hidden lab. Top scientists and military leaders argued. Some said to destroy the blink drive. Before the council's fleet arrived, others wanted to launch Earth's ships and prepare for war. But Alira said one thing that made them pause. If we destroy the blink drive, the Foldborn might see it as betrayal. If we keep it, the council will see it as war. Earth was stuck between two giants, and both were watching. The Foldborn returned that night. The blink drive turned on by itself. No one touched it, no one powered it, and yet the Fold core began spinning. A dark light filled the chamber. 3 Foldborn stepped out of the shadows. Again, no alarms sounded. They had arrived without movement. Alira stood in front of them. The council wants to destroy us, she said. What will you do? The Foldborn spoke in many voices at once. They fear us, they always have, but fear is not wisdom. You blinked with curiosity. That is rare, so we give you this, a beam of light shot into the air. It formed a shape, a new design, a more powerful version of the blink. Doctor, this is the blink gate. It will allow safe travel between folds. If you build it, you may see what no species has ever seen. But if you fear like the others, you may choose to forget. Then they vanished again. The council fleet mobilized chandrids of warships left the galactic core. Massive cruisers, star dragons, and ancient dreadnoughts all pointed toward one blue planet, Earth. They called it Operation Silence. Their goal, erase the blink drive, destroy the fold gate. If Earth resists, burn it. But unknown to them, one of the council's spies on Earth had already sent a secret warning to Alira. The fleet is coming. You have 5 days. Alira's choice. Alira stood in the lab, staring at the new design left by the Foldborn. It was beautiful, elegant, a machine meant not for war but for understanding. But could she build it before the fleet arrived? Her team said it was impossible. She said, we built the blink drive when the galaxy laughed at us. We'll build this too. For the next 4 days, her team worked non-stop. Sleep was forgotten. Food was ignored. The new blink gate began to take shape, and as it did, something strange happened. The Foldborn stopped appearing, but the blink drive began glowing brighter than ever before. A secret within the fold. As the gate neared completion, Alira noticed something disturbing. Every time the core spun, time slowed for a few seconds. She could hear voices from the fold, whispers in hundreds of languages. One voice kept repeating, "The elders fear us because they made us." She checked old galactic records, thousands of years ago. The council had experimented with fold space. They tried to create shortcuts through the universe, but something went wrong. They opened the fold too wide, and the Foldborn were born. The council didn't discover them, they created them, and then lied about it. The truth must be known. Alira broadcast a hidden message to the galaxy. She showed the Foldborn's warning, the design of the blink gate, the council's ancient lies. They created the Foldborn, then they tried to erase them. Now, because we touched the truth, they want to erase us too. Millions across the galaxy watched the message. Some doubted it, some believed it, but the council could no longer hide the past. Their silence had been broken. The fleet arrived. The sky above Earth darkened. Massive ships appeared in orbit. The ground shook as warning shots were fired into the ocean. Near the lab. The president sent one final message to Alira. You have one chance left. Open the gate. Prove they're wrong. Or Earth falls. The Galactic Council's fleet hovered above Earth. Their weapons were ready, and Earth had one final choice. Open the gate, or be destroyed. The countdown begins in Earth's orbit. A countdown started on every alien warship. 1 hour. That's all the time Earth had left in the secret lab beneath the Atlantic. Dr. Alira Voss and her team raced to complete the blink gate, the gift from the Foldborn. The new gate was massive. 2 glowing rings floated above a magnetic platform. In the center, the original blink core pulsed brighter than ever. "This core is alive," whispered one engineer. "It's like it's thinking." Illyra nodded. "It's not a machine. Anymore, it's a message. A signal unlike any other. At 20 minutes left, something strange happened. All communications on Earth froze. Satellites went silent. Radios turned to static. Every screen from phones to computers went black. Then, a voice echoed. It didn't come from speakers. It came from inside every mind. Even children heard it. Even the dying heard it. Every creature with a brain heard the same thing. "You blinked, and we saw you. Now you will see us." The void broadcast. Illyra stared at the lab monitor. Somehow, it was showing a feed, but not from any camera. Instead, it showed the void between galaxies. Dark, endless, empty. But then, something moved. A shape, massive, shifting, watching. No one could understand what it was. It didn't have a body. It wasn't light. It was like the idea of something. It filled the screen without form, and then the stars behind it began to disappear. "Are those stars dying?" one technician asked. Illyra's voice trembled. "No, they're not dying. They're being covered." The message then, the image, zoomed in. Closer, until the void was all that remained. And in the silence, another voice spoke. "We are not your enemies. We are the memory of space. We are the echoes of every jump made by every species. You called us. Now choose, walk. With us, or be silenced like your makers." The screen went dark. The truth hits Earth. Illyra checked the data that signaled the one everyone just heard. It did not come from the blink drive. It came from inside the fold space itself, from a point that doesn't exist on any map. "They're inside the folds, but outside our universe," Illyra whispered. "They've always been there, watching, waiting." The Council denies everything in the Council fleet above Earth. Panic spread. Leaders watched the same broadcast, the same voice, the same shape, but they refuse to believe it's a trick. "Human tech can't do this. Shut them down now." One alien admiral, an insectoid general from the Chazari Empire, said, "This isn't a message. It's a threat. We must strike now." But others hesitated. Some remembered the old legends, the stories the Council erased long ago. The stories of the Dark Observers, the Mirror Beings, the Eyes in the Folds. They weren't myths. They were real, and now they had returned. The blink gate powers up with 10 minutes left. Illyra made her choice. "Power the gate," she ordered. "If we open it, they might stop the war." Her team hesitated. "We don't know what will come through." Illyra nodded. "That's true. But if we do nothing, Earth dies. If we open it, maybe the truth lives." The gate rings began to spin. Energy pulsed through the lab. The lights dimmed. The ground shook, and then the gate opened. What came through it wasn't a ship. It wasn't a creature. It was a wave of light, but not blinding. It felt warm, soft, like the light of a memory. Inside the light was a shape, a being made of reflections, not metal, not flesh. But something in dash between it floated into the room. No, one moved. Even the soldiers lowered their weapons. The being looked at Illyra and spoke not in words, but in thoughts. "You opened the gate. That means you are ready." "Ready for what?" Illyra asked, to remember what the galaxy forgot. A vision of the past. The being raised its hand. Everyone in the room saw the same vision. A time before the Council, a time when fold space was explored freely. A time when ancient civilizations, long dead, used blink drives to touch the edges of time. But one species went too far. They tried to make life inside the fold, and it worked. The Foldborn were born made of memory, time, and light, but the creators feared them. And so, they tried to erase them. They failed, and now, those creators were gone, destroyed, silenced by their own child. The Foldborn, "What do you want from us?" Illyra stepped closer. "Why us? Why now?" The being replied, "Because you blinked? Not for power, but for knowledge. Because you asked questions, instead of sending weapons. Because you are still changing." It reached out and touched the blink core. Suddenly, all power systems returned, the gates stabilized, and Earth satellites came back online. Then the being whispered, "We will protect you if you continue forward." And it vanished into the fold. The council stands down above Earth, the fleet prepared to fire. But suddenly, their systems failed, their shields flickered, their drives slowed, and on every bridge a message appeared. "Earth is under our protection. If you fire, we will answer." No one dared speak. The commanders looked at each other. Finally, the order was given. "Stand down." The fleet turned and left. Elira's final log for now, back in the lab. Elira recorded a message. "We opened the gate, and what we found wasn't death, but truth. The Foldborn are not monsters. They are not invaders. They are reminders of what power can do, of what knowledge costs. But now, for the first time in galactic history, Earth is not the student. We are the explorers." We blinked, and the universe blinked back. The stars still shined. The moon still hung in the sky. But Earth was gone. 1 second, it was there. The next hit had vanished without a sound. The galactic panic crossed the galaxy. Trillions stared at their screens. One moment, Earth was floating. Quietly, then, in the blink of an eye, it was not. No explosion, no jump trail, no radiation, no signal, just empty space. Where a world used to be, the Galactic Council panicked. Did they destroy themselves? Was it the Foldborn? Did Earth activate something again? The council chambers were filled with shouting. No one had an answer. No species had ever disappeared there. Entire planet, not even the ancients. Inside the fold, but Earth hadn't died. It had moved. The Blink Core, now fully awakened by the Foldborn, had done something impossible. It pulled Earth into fold space, a place no full planet had ever gone. A place between time, between light, between gravity itself, and inside that space, Earth floated peacefully. The oceans remained. The clouds still swirled. People were alive, but the stars had changed. The night sky no longer held constellations. Instead, it showed deep swirls of color galaxies like rivers stretching across the void. "Where are we?" someone whispered. "We're inside the blink," Elira answered. "We're inside the in-between." The world reacts across Earth. Chaos turned into calm. People felt something strange. The air felt lighter. The ground hummed softly beneath their feet. Children said they heard whispers in the wind. Kind whispers. Old machines began to work better. Broken circuits fixed themselves. Plants started to grow faster. The blink had not just moved Earth, it was changing it. Elira's discovery inside her lab, Dr. Elira Voss, studied a new signal. It pulsed from the blink core, but also came from the planet itself. Every few seconds, it sent a pattern like a heartbeat. "It's alive," she said. The technician beside her frowned. "The planet." She shook her head. "The space around us, it's responding to Earth, like Earth woke something up." Then the lights flickered, not from failure, but from something. Passing by. Something big. Visitors in the full-day shape appeared outside Earth's orbit. It wasn't a ship. It was more like a city, floating through fold space. Towers of light. Bridges made of thought. Creatures that flickered in and out of form. They didn't speak in words, but Elira heard them anyway inside her mind. "You came. The only world to do so. Welcome," she replied without speaking. "Who are you?" "We are the architects. Long ago, we watched the Foldborn rise. We guided the first civilizations. And then we vanished. Why? Because we were waiting for the one world that wouldn't conquer the blink but would listen to it." The choice the architects showed Elira a vision. In it, she saw what Earth could become, not a conqueror, not a follower, but a beacon. The first world to live inside fold space, a bridge between normal space and the hidden paths of the universe. But there was a cost. "You cannot return," said the architects. "If Earth leaves this place, it will shatter." Fold space does not forgive backtracking. Elira looked out the window at her world, peaceful, floating, quiet, no war, no council. What happens if we stay? You evolve. The council's mistake back in the galaxy. The council wasn't waiting. They sent scout ships to Earth's last known location. When they arrived, they found nothing, but then one ship, the Halexian, detected a ripple. Against all warnings, they followed it. The ripple led to a tear in space, a tiny hole glowing softly. The captain ordered them in. They blinked once and were never seen again. The Broadcast returns then, days later. Every screen across the galaxy turned on. The same Foldborn voice returned. You looked for Earth? Earth looked back. You tried to dominate it. But now, Earth walks where you cannot follow. The screen showed Earth floating in a beautiful storm of stars, swirls and fold energy, and standing beside it were dozens of Foldborn. Then the voice said, "Your time of ruling is ending. A new light rises. From the silence comes the truth. Humanity speaks for the first time in the galaxy's history." A human voice was broadcast across all systems. It was Dr. Illyra Voss. We didn't vanish. We stepped forward. And now we know more than you were ever willing to teach us. We are not afraid anymore. We are not behind anymore. We are ahead. We blinked, and the universe welcomed us. The Foldborn's gift before the transmission ended. A final message was sent not in words, but in code, a simple blueprint, a small blink, core just enough for one ship, a gift to any species willing to learn, not conquer. The Council was furious. Many worlds were curious. And the galaxy changed forever. The galaxy had seen weapons. It had seen fleets, armies, and dark machines of destruction. But what Earth now held ... was something else. It wasn't a weapon, it was potential. And that made it more dangerous than anything before. The galaxy holds its breath over the stars. Systems went quiet. Ships floated without orders. Governments paused all transmissions. Every leader from the smallest trade baron to the largest council master asked the same question. What do we do now? Humanity was no longer predictable. It had vanished, taken its planet into the fold space, and then returned with a message that shattered old power, a signal that said, "We blinked, now we see everything." The Council didn't understand it, but they feared it. The gift ignored the blink core blueprint shared by Earth was not a trap, it was real. It could allow a single ship to fold space jump, not fully like Earth, but enough to see the edge of what lay beyond. But the Council called it a threat. If we allow other species to use this, they warned, they'll break the balance. Chaos will follow. So they banned the blueprint, they destroyed copies, and they hunted anyone who tried to build it. But not everyone obeyed the Minari Rebellion. A small, water-based species had always lived under the Council's shadow, quiet, peaceful, obedient. But when they saw Earth's broadcast, something woke up in them. For years, they had been told they were too weak, too slow to join space travel. Now, they had a chance. Secretly, their best engineers built a blink pod based on Earth's design. It was small, barely stable, but it worked. And when they activated it, ... they vanished, just like Earth had. LIRA watches inside fold space. Earth was changing. Cities began to float gently above land, held by soft gravitational pulses. Oceans cleaned themselves. Machines hummed like music. People started to hear the Foldborn, not in language, but in feeling. Ideas, dreams, visions. Dr. Illyra Voss stood in her observatory, watching a flicker. The first Minari blink pod appeared tiny and shaking, but alive. "They made it," she whispered. A Foldborn approached her. "One world follows," it said. "More will come. You lit the fire." Was it right to share the blink core? She asked. Truth is never safe, but always necessary. The Council's mistake against Council sent warships to the Minari homeworld. They believed the small species had stolen power. They didn't care that Earth gave it freely. When the fleet arrived, they found only silence. The planet was empty, no people, no ships, no sound, only a single message. Carved into the moon's surface, we chose to rise. The Council had no one left to punish. The new Balancemore species began to ask questions. The Tigrans, known for their warrior history, sent ambassadors to the Fold. The Keru, a hive-minded race, began building fold-sensitive crystals. Even some humans, now adapted to fold space, started creating ships that could leave and return safely. Earth had become a lighthouse, and the old galactic order. It was crumbling. Earth's evolution humanity was changing physically, mentally, spiritually. Some humans could now see future possibilities. Others could heal objects just by touching them. And a few like Illyra could communicate fully with. The Foldborn fold space was more than travel. It was understanding. It taught humans to see patterns between stars, to feel the weight of time, to dream. While awake. Earth was no longer just a planet, it was becoming something else. A visitor from the Council ship appeared on the edge of fold-space, old, cracked, weak. It held a single passenger channel. Hedrick, former leader of the Council, he asked for Alira by name. "Why are you here?" she asked, standing before him. "I came to see what we were so afraid of." Alira nodded. "And did you find it?" The old man looked around, but floating cities, glowing rivers, children speaking with light in their eyes. "Yes," he said. "And we were right to fear it." He paused, "because it's everything we couldn't be." The Council ends. A few weeks later, the Council dissolved itself. The remaining systems formed a new assembly, not for control, but for learning. No central power, no forced rules. Instead, species were invited to send ambassadors to Earth's edge in fold-space to observe, learn, and decide for themselves. Some refused, some feared, but many came. The universe had changed, and Earth was now at the center of a new beginning. A new threat rises, but not all was peace in the cold, far edge of fold space. Alira detected a strange signal. It pulsed in patterns not known to any species. Sharp, twisted, even the Foldborn grew silent. Alira stared at the readings. "This isn't from our galaxy," she whispered. One Foldborn floated near her. "No," it said, "it's from outside. Something saw your blink, and now it comes." Earth had changed the galaxy, but now something outside the galaxy had noticed. Something old, something silent, something watching. The signal no one understood in the Fold Watchtower. High above Earth's surface, Alira Voss stared at the strange signal. It had no known language. It didn't follow math or music. Even the Foldborn creatures of infinite knowledge couldn't decode it. "It sees you," one Foldborn whispered, "but it does not speak. It waits." The signal came from beyond the edge of fold space, a place even the Foldborn feared, the quiet before the storm Earth. As people continued to grow, children could see stars while dreaming. Machines began to repair themselves. New blink ships, now called light cutters, could explore deeper folds, but something felt wrong. Like the galaxy had paused, the Keru stopped mining, the Tigrans stopped building. The stars themselves seemed dimmer. Everyone could feel it. Something was watching. Something was near. First contact, not by humans, the Yellari, a species known for scanning deep space patterns, made the first discovery. There. Ship found a crack along, glowing tear far beyond the known edge. It wasn't a portal, it was an eye watching before the ship could send full data. It vanished. No wreckage. No signal, just silence. The message appears then. One night, a new message blinked across every star system. Not words, not sound, just an image, a perfect model of Earth, floating in a dark sea. Slowly crumbling into pieces, it came with a symbol, a circle. With one slash dot, the Foldborn shook. "It knows what you are," one said, "and it does not like change." Alira gathered Earth's leaders. "Something is coming," she said, "and we don't know if we can survive it." Preparing for the unknown, Earth called back all its light cutters. The Foldborn created shields of thought energy around cities. Humans began training not with weapons, but with focus, mind power, and fold sense. They prepared to protect, not destroy. "If this thing wants war," Alira told her team, "we'll give it reason to fear peace." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, panic spread. Many species fled their systems. Some went deeper into fold space. Some begged Earth for protection. But Earth didn't answer yet. They were still watching the eye. The silent sphere. Suddenly, a new object entered fold space. A perfect black sphere. No sound, no movement, just hovering. Foldborn called it the Quiet One. Humans sent drones. None returned. Alira herself approached it. With a team of 6 light cutters, as they neared, the sphere pulsed once. Alira heard a voice, but not with ears. "You were not supposed to awaken." The conversation inside her mind. Alira stood in a space of stars and mirrors. A being appeared, not made of body, but thought. "What are you?" she asked. "We are the Watchers," it replied. "We wait, we do not interfere." "But you're here now, because you moved," it said. "You blinked. We didn't know it was forbidden." It wasn't the Watcher said. But it was unexpected. Illyra felt her heart beating hard. Will you destroy us? The beam paused. No, we will test you. What kind of test? To see if your minds are ready or broken. The mind trial begins suddenly. All of Earth's fold-sensitive humans, nearly 50,000, fell into a deep sleep. They all saw the same thing. A mirror version of Earth, cold, dark, lifeless, and in the mirror world, they had to find the spark of what made humanity special. If they failed, they would never wake up. Illyra's Trialira walked alone through the mirror Earth. She saw ruins of cities, empty homes, silent oceans. She passed people frozen in place, without light in their eyes. She heard a whisper, "You changed the galaxy." But why? Illyra answered, "Because we were always trying to survive. And then we learned how to grow." The whisper continued, "And when others feared you, we shared the blink core," she said. "Not to lead, but to free." The world began to brighten. "That is the spark," the voice said. "The will to rise together." The test ends one by one. The fold-sensitive humans woke up. They remembered everything, and they were stronger now. Some could shape matter with their minds, some could bend. Fold space like it was cloth. The Foldborn watched in awe. The Watchers had not destroyed humanity. They had unlocked something, the warning before leaving. The Watchers sent one final message. "You have passed, but others will follow us. Be ready." Then the sphere vanished into the edge, and the galaxy was silent again. But this time, it was the calm before a greater storm. The Watchers had left, but something else had entered the fold. It didn't watch. It hunted. The disappearance near. Outer rim of the galaxy, a human research station named Argon 6 sent a distress signal. Then silence, no explosion. No fold wave, just vanished. Illyra Voss sat in the Earthfold Council, staring at the blinking red marker. "That's the third station this week," she whispered. Others nodded. Even the Foldborn were quiet. Something was hunting in the folds. The survivors' message hours later. A small pod appeared outside Earth's orbit. Inside was a wounded man, a researcher from Argon-6. He was shaking, eyes wide, skin pale. He whispered the same words over and over. It came from the silos. It wore our shadows. Doctors scanned his mind. What they saw was terrifying. The creature didn't move through. Fold space it, erased it. It hunted not with weapons, but with absence. It was called the Hollow Star. The Foldborn speak. The Foldborn gathered in their ancient temple. Their leader, known only as the Whisperer, spoke. "The Hollow Star is not alive. It is what remains. When a universe ends, it is memory, hunger, and silence made real. It has tasted humanity. Now it wants more." Earth's leaders froze. Illyra asked, "Can we fight it?" The Whisperer looked sad. "No, you must survive it." The plan, a beacon of unity Earth, had one hope. The Blink Core Network. If all connected species focused their blink energy at once, they could create a protective fold shield. But it required complete trust. No lies, no politics, just unity. Illyra sent the call. Some species answered quickly. Like the Tigerans and co-single quotes, "Are you?" Others hesitated. One refused. The Zelthari Dominion. Jealous of Earth's rising power, they didn't just refuse, they attacked. The surprise. Betrayal's Velthri ships struck Earth's outer colonies, trying to steal Blink Core tech, but the Lightcutter fleet was ready. Captain Dallin Kai, leader of the fleet, gave a simple order. No mercy. They chose their side. The battle was swift. Zelthari ships blinked into fire traps and collapsed under human tech. But while the battle raged, the Hollow Star arrived. The first world falls. The Foldborn planet, Mersal, full of ancient mines and fold libraries, was the first to fall. The Hollow Star didn't fire beams. It drained light. Cities faded, skies turned black, oceans vanished. Screamed in unison and then were gone. Only a crater remained. Echoing a quiet hum, Illyra watched the feed and whispered, "We're not fighting death. We're fighting erasure." The blink shield begins back on Earth. Teams worked day and night to connect every blink core. Fold sensitive, humans and aliens stood in rings. Hands linked, minds open. The Blink Core network lit up like a web across space. One by one, fold nodes locked in Earth, Tigron Prime, Cairo Depths, Solaris Gate. But there was a problem. One final node wouldn't connect. The signal came from deep inside, Fold Spaca, rogue blink core, stolen by the Zeltheri. Without it, the shield would be weak. The mission, recover the last Coriolis, chose a team of 5. To retrieve it, they were Fold warriors trained to survive unstable folds. Led by Terran Holt, Alira's old friend, they blinked into the rogue fold. And what they saw broke their hearts. Zelt Harit War, already dead, but not from battle, from inside out, their bodies twisted by something unseen. Taren whispered, the hollow star was here, in the middle of the wreckage. The blink core still pulsed. They grabbed it and blinked out. Just in time, the shield activates with the final core in place. The network flared. A glowing web of light wrapped around Earth and its allies. When the hollow star came, it hit the shield and stopped. It pulsed, pressed, strained, but it couldn't enter for the first time. It felt resistance. For the first time, it hesitated, a whisper in the darkness as the hollow star drifted away. It left a message, not through space, but through dreams. Every fold-sensitive being heard it. You delay nothing, you shine now, but you will burn later. Earth had survived, but not one. The hollow star had been stopped. For now, but humanity knew the truth. Allied worlds sent their thanks. Even the Foldborn offered blessings, but Alira Voss didn't smile. She stared at the stars every night. It paused. It didn't leave. She was right deep in fold space. The hollow star lingered, watching, waiting. The Whisperers, Prophecy the Foldborn elders, gathered for one final message. Their leader, the Whisperer, stood before Alira. He held a crystal shard from the ruins of Mur-Sol inside, and it will return when time folds inward. Alira asked, what does that mean? The Whisperer's voice shook. It means we have only one chance left. Project Final Blink, a secret plan, had been in development on Earth only. A few knew about it. Codename, Project Final Blink. Purpose, use the Blink Core network, not just to jump across space, and humanity could vanish forever. But if it worked, they could trap the hollow star between folds, not destroy it, not kill it, just lock it away. Volunteers for the Unknown Lyra called for volunteers. Thousands applied. Only 7 were chosen. One of them was Terran Holt, still recovering from the rogue Blink Core mission. Another was Arya, a Foldborn child, with the ability to dreamwalk across fold lines. Their ship was named Eclipse 1. Jump farther than anything before into unmarked fold-territory, beyond the known, beyond the galaxy. The final jump. The day arrived. Eclipse. Her last order, find the hollow star, trap it. Come home if you can. Terran responded with a smile. If we can't come home, the ship vanished into the fold. And then time bent the place beyond Fold's eclipse. One entered a realm where light had no direction, where time ticked backward. Was the hollow star no longer hiding? It spoke, but not with sound. You are small, you are temporary, but you shine too bright. It attacked. The battle without time rippled, every second repeated. Fold waves reversed. Thoughts twisted. Taren, and the crew fought not with weapons, but with willpower. They linked minds with the Blink Core. Arya focused her fold sight. I see the pattern, she cried. It's a loop. We can trap it. And blinked inward. The hollow star lunged and was caught, frozen in a fold knot, locked between seconds. Time shivered, then snapped. Back to Earth. Years later on Earth. Years had passed. The hollow star never returned. The blink shield faded, no longer needed. New colonies were built. Peace returned. Then a message arrived. A soft signal from Eclipse 1. Only 5 words. Loop complete. We are free. Alira cried. Taren, and his team had survived Dreborn in time. A new beginning. Humanity now understood the true power of the blink drive. Not just movement, not just war, but time itself. The stars called again. Alira stood before the United Earth Council. We faced extinction. We faced the end of space and time. We didn't just survive, we became the keepers of the folds. And so, a new journey began, not out of fear,